Welcome to First and 10 with HS Live. I'm sports editor Nicholas Huba. Again, with me is the king of the cow, maestro of anything, lounge singer sometimes, Mike McGarry. Mike, it's week 3 for some teams. It's the halfway point.
Yeah, I mean, before the postseason groupings come out or whatever.
We'll get to that later.
Right? Teams will play 5 or 6 games, and this is week 3, and it's a key week for teams. You know, we seem to have a ton of teams matching up with 1-1 records. So 2-1 is a lot better than 1-2, and this week could be a kind of a dividing point in the season for some teams.
One of those games is Millville and St. Joe's. You know, St. Joe's came off the tough week 1 loss to Holy Spirit, a really good Holy Spirit team, we're coming to find out, and then bounced back last week against Pleasantville. And Millville with a huge victory against the Prep on Friday night, kind of something that surprised a lot of us.
Yeah, I mean, Millville 22-21 over St. Augustine last Friday night. It's a Millville team that everybody knew was talented. Junior quarterback Nate Robbins, junior running back LaQuint Allen. The conventional wisdom was that, hey, Millville's talented, but maybe they're a year away. Well, that year showed up a bit early last Friday. They beat St. Augustine 22-21. Now they host St. Joe. Ahmad Ross for St. Joe, linebacker, running back, Army commit, off to a sensational start this season. They beat Pleasantville 30-6 last Friday. This is one of those 1-1 games. 1-1 St. Joe at 1-1 Millville. Just a great, interesting game. See if Millville can knock off another parochial power.
What are some of those other 1-1 games you're keeping your eye on this weekend?
We've got a ton of them. 4 p.m. at Mainland. Mainland 1-1 against Pleasantville 1-1. A lot of talented sophomores on the field in that game. Sophomore quarterback, of course, Marlon Leslie of Pleasantville. Sophomore running back Jabril Mace of Mainland Regional. Sophomore wide receiver Nick Wagner of Mainland, averaging about 17 yards per catch. So matchup of 2 1-1 teams there. So that's another good one that we're going to see out at Mainland on that day. And of course, right behind us, we got the Absegami Braves, who are 1-1, coming off a win over Mainland. They'll be hosting a 1-1 EHT team that beat Atlantic City last week. And then on next Saturday, you've got a 1-1 Atlantic City team, or this Saturday, a 1-1 Atlantic City team, making the long trip out to Bridgeton to face a 1-1 Bridgeton team. So a lot of 1-1 action.
Well, what counts for this, like 1-1? Usually, like, sometimes you get like 2-0, and this seems like there's a lot of parity this year. Is it just because everything that's kind of going on?
Yeah, it could be parity, just the way the schedule worked or something like that. But as I said, you know, it's an opportunity for one team to go to 2-1. This game here, Absegami EHT, really interests me. Jordan Marcucci, Absegami wide receiver, off to a tremendous start so far this season. And you've got an EHT team that won 4 of their last 6 last season. They're looking for their first winning season since 2010. They got a really good game out of defensive back and running back Avery McKim last week against Atlantic City. So it would be a big step for either EHT or Absegami to go to 2-1.
You saw EHT last week against Atlantic City. What is with the improvement? Where is it? Like,
they just got, as Coach Scott Stetzer said after the game, they just got more guys. I mean, they got more guys on the field. Your quarterback Christian Rando played solid. They bring another kid in at quarterback, Aaron Bullock. He played solid. Avery McKim at running back. Chris Decker at running back. McKim on the defensive side of the ball. And they were able to run the ball successfully and really show some resilience in that win over an improving Atlantic City
Anything
team.
else we're looking forward to? I just feel like we blinked and it's like halfway done already.
Well, we've got, of course, the game of the week out at St. Augustine. St. Augustine 0-1 coming off that loss. They'll play 2-0 Hamilton. Hamilton number 3 in the Press Elite 11. And the intrigue in this game, of course, current St. Augustine coach Pete Lancetta, 26 years as the Hamilton coach. Coached them to over 200 wins, won 4 South Jersey titles, really established the Blue Devils as one of the state's legendary programs. I talked to Pete last night for a story that'll be online Thursday and in the press on Friday, and he was mixing up his pronouns a little bit when he was talking about Hamilton. He was referring to them as we and they and us. So real interesting game there as St. Augustine tries to turn their season around.
And Hamilton, you know, they might be one of the best public school teams down here. Like, it's been a really quick kind of 18 months for them in the turnaround process.
Well, you've got a Hamilton team. They're the defending Central Jersey Group 4 champions. They've got one of the top running backs in the state in Jaden Abrams. And St. Augustine's going to counter with Kanye Udo, who ran for 187 yards against Millville. So it's going to be a classic matchup out at St. Augustine.
What did Pete say about the matchup between his old school and his current school?
Well, he was kind of, you know, he admitted that it's weird, and he wasn't really happy when the schedule first came out and things like that. But you know, he said it's going to be weird looking across the field. And of course, the Hamilton coach, Jimmy Rasso, played for Pete Lancetta on the 94 and 95 Hamilton teams that won, or 93 and 94 Hamilton teams, rather, that won South Jersey Group 2 titles. So, and him and Coach Rasso, Pete and Coach Rasso, talk weekly.
Are they talking this week or no?
A little bit, a little joking around, things like that. So it's just a real kind of interesting matchup.
And that's like one of the great things about high school sports, you know, and high school football in particular. You see these kind of things in players against mentors and things like that, and that's another example of it.
Right, and it should be, you know, again, you mentioned Hamilton, you know, this is, in this COVID pandemic shortened season, this is going to be one of those memorable games that teams are going to point to, they're going to look at. This game is going to define Hamilton season, it's going to define St. Augustine season. A lot of people talk about high school sports, it's about creating memories. Well, it's going to be a great memory for both teams Friday night.
Do you think this is a show-me game for St. Augustine Prep, considering the loss last week and the expectations you were kind of looking at, if you ended the way they ended last year up at St. Peter's Prep, where they should have won that game, kind of thing.
Right.
And now this.
Yeah, they came within seconds last year of knocking off the #1 team of the state in St. Peter's Prep. Obviously, no one thought they'd be 0-2 to start the season, so there is pressure on the Hermits Friday night.
Mike, enjoy your weekend. You'll be all over the highways and byways of the
be
cow.
At St. Augustine on Friday night and heading out to Bridgeton. I got to leave in about 5 minutes to get to Bridgeton for Saturday's 2 o'clock kickoff against Atlantic City. So should be another great weekend of high school football.
Guys, thanks for joining us.